If you are, today is the day how to marriage proof your, through the
Marriage proof?
coronavirus. How to divorce proof your marriage through
Maybe.
coronavirus. That's what we'll go with. How to divorce proof your marriage through coronavirus. And so,
That seems like a low expectation. How about
yeah, how to
conflict proof?
conflict proof thrive. No, we're
Um,
gonna conflict.
no. What's it called? Petty proof. We should petty proof
Petty proof
your marriage.
your marriage. Okay.
We should take notes.
Yeah, we're gonna take notes because, but today really we're gonna, instead of giving you guys all like 8 principles and 5 steps or different things of that nature, we're just gonna really just hopefully make this very interactive for us to be able just to talk through this because we got some marriages and the bottom line is that we got to talk about some stuff. We got to talk about some stuff, and so we're saying like, how do we bring this together? How do we bring this together? Yeah, Laura. Laura said, "Divorce proof your marriage is a little rash." It is. It is rash, but
Petty proof. I
you
like the
know,
petty proof.
yeah. Angie wants to go with petty proof. I'm going with just like the idea of how do we
Thrive.
thrive in our marriages. I think that is a really good idea. Like, how do we thrive in our marriages? Because that's really an important thing for us to talk about. Now is not the time for a title. Yes, Corwin, right. I agree. We just need to be able to get to it and be able to talk through it because this is just the reality. And just as we set things up today, again, as you know, this week it's going to be great. This week, all week long, we have some good guests, good people coming on. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking with Justin Giboney, and Justin talk about just and going into the public square, like for us believers, and especially in this season, in this time, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. So Justin Giboney is going to be joining us tomorrow. And then Wednesday, remember, we're talking about going from quiet times to proclamation. And we're going to be looking at Acts chapter 15 with one of our pastors, Morgan Nix. So we'll be talking about that. Right now, we are, again, I think Chip Dodd is going to be coming again on Thursdays. So I think we're going to be having him. And then Friday is, again, Feelings Friday. But I may throw in a little bit different. I may have someone come and join me. Maybe even, I'm trying to get Stephanie Powell to join us. I see us on here. I'm trying to get her to join us. Or maybe Stephanie can come talk to us about Feelings Friday.
She's really good with feelings.
Feelings with our children. How to relate with feelings with our children. So I may ask her to come on Friday and being able to do it with Alexandria. What's up? How you doing? Matthew, it's good to see you. How do you thrive in our marriages when we are stuck at home 24/7 with our kids? Send help. That is what we're going to be talking about today. We got, me and my wife, we've been married for, what was this, 19, 18, going on 19?
18 and a half.
18 and a half, going on 19
Yeah.
years, and we have a lot of children. So Matthew, hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about that, today. So this week is a great week, Facebook Live, for us to go at 11 o'clock, or lots of different people coming in. And so really this week, if Stephanie is willing to do it this week, we can have every day. You wouldn't have to worry about just hearing me rant all day, because we'll have guests every day. And today is the very, very special guest, my wife, Angela. So I was thinking about like, how can we do talking about marriage and not have my wife on there, because that would be kind of weird. That'd be kind of weird to do that. And so we decided to do it together. And so, again, it's officially 5 minutes. We are in. We are ready to go. What's up, you guys? Stephanie is here. Tiffany is here. How to petty proof your marriage, thriving through Corona.
That's her title.
That is a title. So we are in day 16 of the Chronicles of Corona. And so we are just doing our journey in this. And so we are exciting about this. Yeah, Holly said, this is me officially asking Stephanie to be on the show, be on Facebook Live. So this is how I do.
That's how I got asked.
That's how, yeah. So literally, I didn't ask you on the show, but this is just a part of it. This is a part of just us trying to make things happen. All right. Just to kind of give you guys a little bit of understanding about kind of our marriage and just in this time in Corona. But before I do that, I do want to let you guys know that this is a time that, I was reading an article today this really about like how so many of us are, because we are, I'm not going to use the word stuck, but stuck with one another.
Safe. We're safe at
Yeah,
home.
we're
Somebody
safe
put that
and
on Instagram.
stuck and safe at home. It is really one of those things that they said there's two realities that's going to come about it. We're going to have an increase in babies, and then we're also going to have an increase in divorces. And, that seems like two very drastic extremes. But I mean, I think that's a reality. It made sense to me, when you start thinking about this, is just like the swing between more babies and more divorces is sad, but it's a real reality. And so one of the things that we want to talk about today is just like how do we not just survive but thrive, in marriage, and hopefully we can even talk to and use this as a public forum to talk about just different ways for us to begin to have like date nights and those types of things, like stay at home date nights, because we want to make sure that we are, social distancing from ourselves, but being able to do that from other people, because we're not social distancing from each other. See, we love each other. And so Smith Santil, you're on here. What's up? And it's good. So Angie, why don't you just kind of start off and just talk to us a little bit about just marriage and some principles that we have when it comes to our marriage, like for instance, worldviews and things of that nature. Some general foundational principles. I think that's critical for us to have in marriage.
Yeah. I mean, worldviews wise, we have worldviews that kind of dictate the decisions we make and things like that, which I don't know. I think the thing that's more important, so every Sunday, most Sundays, I would say, we sit down with our plan. I remember going back to counseling early into our marriage, and he said, you guys have to have a calendar, because it would be, you're a visionary, whatever that, a vision guy, and I'm a planner. And so Dhati would say something and I would write it down. And in my mind, we were going to do it. And in his mind, it was a thought. And so we were challenged to just write it all down. And once it's on the calendar, it's like you wrote it in blood type idea. And that was very helpful, because if he didn't agree to write it on the calendar, then it wasn't happening. And if we wrote it on the calendar, there was an expectation, and a fair expectation. So I think that's one thing that we have right now.
Yeah, and you would ask us like, well, why do we calendar if we are always together, right? No, that's all the reason why you need to calendar all the more. And for us, we're a little different. Obviously, we're in the church, but it's a little different for us because we live literally a 20-second walk from the church. So it's real easy for us. But we try to create separation. Like we got dressed up and every day getting dressed up, getting ready, setting a time. We have our kids set a time, all of those things. So just having time of when we're on, when we're off. There's work hours, there's non-work hours, especially during this time, because there are so many intersecting points. We talked a little bit about that when we talked about raising our kids, 2 weeks ago. The other thing that so it's just really, really important that to do that. But so in this, let me just say this, and the reason why. This is the number one principle that you got to understand whenever you are married, whether you're married pre-corona, in corona, and hopefully you'll still be married post-corona. This is a principle that you need to understand. 2 Christians don't make a Christian couple. 2 Christians don't make a Christian couple. This is why the intentionality. So when we talk about this idea of calendaring, it is important, because if you're not intentional, what you will end up doing is that you would just kind of want everybody else to be like you're building in codependency. You understand what I'm saying? If you are not intentional by creating healthy boundaries in your marriage, you are building in codependency, because what you're saying is that you always want me to look into your eyes and her to look into my eyes and say, I wonder what she wants. I wonder what this time is. Is this time for us to connect or not time to connect? And obviously there's going to be times where there's fluid and all that, but there needs to be times and boundaries, because there may be times that I need to work, but she wants to connect. And there may be times that she wants to connect, but I need to work. And so this is really important for us to recognize that we have those boundaries and we build in disciplines. So two Christians don't make a Christian couple. So this is why we're talking about worldview, seasons, things of that nature. And so in every season, we are disciplining ourselves because we recognize that, hey, she's a Christian, I'm a Christian, together we're Christian. No, it just doesn't work that way. There needs to be an intentionality. In the same way there's intentionality in your own life, there needs to be intentionality in the lives of together, the corporate disciplines. And so, like we said, you guys have already known we are doing things and we're still doing, like on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, there's a different theme of the week that we're doing, all the way from, what's today actually?
Today is Monday, right?
Today is Monday.
It's getting so confusing.
It is.
Today's fun day.
So today is fun day, and so we've done replenish day. And let me just tell you, there has not been any replenishment in any of our replenish days. It's been some of the most stressful days that we have. What's up, Glenn? Glenn Brooks is on. So that's the number one. Two Christians don't make a Christian couple.
You were getting to the point.
So we need to understand
Thursday is our family devotional day. I think that's where you're going.
Yeah. So we have family devotional day. I'm just talking about the discipline of it.
Oh.
The discipline of it. But yeah, so every day that there's a plan, and that's what Angie was saying, that there needs to be a plan, in there. And even though that every day kind of feels like a weekend, it's like Monday and Saturday.
The kids are still up at 11 last night.
They feel the same.
What is happening?
They feel the same. And our kids are trying to maximize that. So that's number one principle. Two Christians don't make a Christian couple. So be intentional, be disciplined in this time. Don't just assume, that just because we're always around each other, that things are going well. Don't do that. Be intentional. Create boundaries for yourself. Number two, you need to manage your marriage well. This is an important thing. The Bible talks about a man and a woman. They talk about this idea of managing our house and then doing it well. And I think it's a really important thing that we are doing that. And when we talk about managing, and some of the things that we're saying is creating a time for a season. Every time that there's a new season in our marriage, that we sit down and we create a plan. And that's why it was very natural and normal for us to say we need to create a plan. Like we now have our kids. We're going to be seeing each other all the time. This is a real plan. You guys got to understand that I usually am traveling 8 to 10 days a month.
Yeah, at least.
That's really 8 to 10 days a month. I'm usually traveling. Now it's just like since November, I haven't been traveling. I did a blip there in January, but I haven't been traveling. And so now you're talking about us being around each other, and now it's kind of like I'm here. And it's constant and it's all the time.
I'm trying to pack the bag. Like, don't you have somewhere to go?
Yeah. And I know. And I mean, and that's real. So we have to basically think all right, you're going to get more of me. All right. You're getting more of me. And this is a reality. This is a reality. And so how are we going to do this? And we need to manage our marriage well. One of the principles that we've learned is that the most successful marriages is not just a marriage. The most successful marriages is a series of marriages, is multiple marriages. And what I mean by that is every season, there's a different thing. So we've already created a rhythm that whenever we get together, like whenever the kids are in school, right? Let's plan. The kids will be in school now. What is our new rhythm?
Yeah.
When they're about to get out of school, what's our new rhythm? So when we came to this, like we're about to be in homeschooling mode for the next couple of months. I just want you guys to know we're not going back to school. We are not going back to school. So we are going to be in this for the next couple of months. So we need to create a plan of what does this look like for us in our marriage. And so
Corwin asked what dictates a new season. So I think anytime there's change, when Dhati coached football, then he worked a lot more hours. And so where we had divvied up, I think at that time we had like 2 kids, but we had divvied up chores pretty fairly because I worked, he worked. But then when I worked, he worked, and then he also coached football, and that was a different season. There was a difference. So I think anything that's different, and then
that determines new rhythms, new things,
new schedule.
Yeah, because like when I decided, hey, I'm going to be going to football, I was like, I gotta I'm not going to be able to do dishes as much. I'm not, and there's certain things that we know that there's certain expectations.
Date night has to change, or.
Right. So there's this constant communication that we need to have. And I think being able to have that constant communication is so important. And that's why Sundays is so critical it's critical to have, like for us, again, that's Sundays to say, what are we doing this week? And we've been very lax on it over some of this, but we do need to make sure that you are doing that. That communicate. That is so critical for what you do. When you're talking about managing, this season, managing the season well. So just being able to know that. So number 3 is another thing that you can manage is your worldviews. Manage worldviews. Or this is another way you can say is reinforce your worldviews. During the coronavirus, reinforcing your worldviews are so critical. And some of you may not have worldviews. Worldviews are just simply, these are some key things that, that bring us together. When we say 2 Christians don't make a Christian couple, like what are some principles that we stand firm on? That we believe in, like disciple making or the hospitality, and so there's principles that we have that are bedrocks, for us in a marriage. And so this is the time that it's like, what do you value? What do you value? I think that is something that is critical.
And they dictate what you end up doing with your time.
Yeah.
Especially right now.
Yeah. So I think that is also an important thing. Another one is kind of your heart. We talk about Feelings Friday. Managing your heart is so important. Being able to ask the question, where are you? Where are you? And when we're asking that question, we're saying emotionally, where are you? And right now I'm hurt, I'm sad, I'm lonely, I'm angry, and so we talk more about that on Feelings Fridays. But I think that is something that is really, really critical for us to manage those well. You want to do this managing, number 5?
Manage your expectations. We should do this.
Yeah.
We haven't done this since we've moved. But manage your expectations. This would be a really good one, actually. So the art of doing it, or the procedure of doing it is he will write out 10, 15, 20 expectations. We'll just say 15. You write out 15 expectations. I write out 15 expectations. And they're specific. Like, I expect you to take out the trash every day. I expect that'd be 1. Number 2 might be, I expect you to ask me where I'm at, feelings-wise, at least 3 times a week. So they're measurable. And then, so I write those out, and then I hand them to him. He hands me his, and I write C for cinch, like, oh, I got that. Thanks for letting me know I should do that. I got it. S for sweat, like, I'll do it. Oh, that's gonna be like working out. I'm gonna have to work on that. And then N for no way, not happening, no.
And the more specific that you are in giving your expectation, the better that you can ask. So you don't just ask the question, hey, I just want to have a healthy sex life. That's just not a great, it's not measurable because everyone has different values. So the question is simply asking the question, like, I would like to have sex 3 to 4 to 5 times, a week. Like, and then you can say, and then you literally write those 20 down, hand it to them, and then you do what with them? You say...
You write cinch, sweat, or nuh-uh.
And really what it happens, it creates talking points.
Yeah.
Like, and actually we haven't did it since we moved. We just moved into a new house here, right, literally in, what was it, February? Mid-February.
Yeah.
And so it's only been a month. And so now for us to be very specific, like to say there's new rhythms. Now we went from literally 5,000 square foot house to 2,000 square foot house. And so being able to understand that we have a 3-bedroom with 8 people, that they're in new realities. And so being able to do those types of realities, I think is critical. And so you guys are facing new realities. So what are those new realities? Like, because both of you are there, like I know you may have one spouse who is more typically does the cooking, or one spouse does typically more of the cleaning. Now that you guys are both there, because that had to do with you being gone, being out of the house, all those things. Is that the same rhythm? Don't just assume that because one spouse was the one who did predominantly the cooking, that now that you're both there, that you just assume that, oh, you're going to cook every day. No, that's a terrible assumption. Don't do that. Don't make those types of assumptions. But it's in there like saying, hey, now that we're both home, I expect you to take up half of the cooking. So I'll cook 3 days, you cook 3 days. That's an expectation. Then you hand it and you say,
I'm going to write that one down.
Cinch, sweat, no way. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's a great. So do your corona expectation, coronavirus expectation. Matter of fact, that's homework. Everybody that's on here, it is homework for both of you. And if you don't do it, please, everybody on here, if you and your spouse need to, will save, and this will help you thrive in your marriage. And again, when there's a cinch or there's a no way, then we're able to talk and say, okay, well, tell me why there's a no.
Oh, and if there's a cinch, like if he writes cinch on something that I don't think's happening, then that's also a good time to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it's like you think you're doing this and you're not. So we're miscommunicating in terms of what the expectation was.
Yeah, because some of this, I'm like an eternal optimist. Like, I'm just like, oh, yeah, I'll do that. Psh, gotcha, check, cinch. And then she's like, but you're not doing it. And you haven't been doing it. I'm just like, oh. So I think it's really important for us to recognize that. So these are all talking points. This is used as a conversation starter to do this. To do this. All right. And so we're going to stop there. Those are a few things. I think there was about 5 things that we talked about as just managing our marriages through Corona. And I would just say, like, we want to talk about some intentional date nights. And let me just say this. And when it comes to intentional date nights for us, again, everybody's different, but going on walks, you're able to keep your social distancing, but going on a walk. Another thing that we've done is that we're walking and we'll take a walk. And then we'll just kind of knock on someone's door, and then we'll back away.
We'll elbow ring the doorbell.
Yeah. And then we'll walk away, and then we're able to do distance kind of cold dating times. They're on their balcony or their porch, and we're just kind of still like on the street or by the street, and we're just having the talk, And so it's like all those different types of things are great to do. Another kind of thing is lock yourself in your room and tell your kids, do not disturb. Please don't do that. Now, if you have kids like us, they just ignore that. But still, you at least, if you put that on your door on your side, you at least get 15 extra minutes. Because there's times when me and Angie we'll sneak, I'm going to give us 3 minutes before we get the first knock. Is there something about mommy? They're just are looking for mom. And I'm just we got to make sure that we are distancing ourselves from our children, because your children they act like they got they're looking for us now. They texted us while we're online. They know we are online, and they're texting us. This is what I'm saying.
Even important.
And it's not even important.
And I said, if you text me, I'm going to assume it's really important, and they still did it.
They still do it, and this is a reality. This is the life we live in, and now it's 24/7, and we can't get rid of them. We can't get rid of them. So this is reality. So say this is mommy and daddy time. This is mommy and daddy time. Remember, the best parenting advice that you can ever give to any of your children is having a strong marriage. That's the best you can do for your children, is have a strong marriage. And so you need to intentionally tell your kids, mom and dad need some intentional time where it's just mom and dad. We need this time, and we need it for X amount of time, whatever that feels good. And so if you have a roof or if you have something, utilize that thing. I'm telling you, utilize it.
Or if you don't normally do TV or Xbox, let them do TV and Xbox.
Yes. This is the time, all the stuff. I love that idea. What we've been talking about, all the stuff. For the next
2 hours, you can be like,
Xbox, watch movies.
But the first person that comes up shuts it down for everybody. Yes. I'm going to use that. That's a good one.
That is, see, we coming up with stuff as we're talking.
I like that.
That's the way we do it. All right, we're going to open it up. What are some questions, some thoughts, some date ideas that you guys may have? Glenn, what's up, man? Yes, thank you for all the things, the compliments and stuff like that. Yes. Jacqueline, yes, great homework idea. Yes. Give them, again, Corona expectations. Write down 10 to 20 expectations. Be specific. Make them be measurable. Don't be generic in general. Hand them to your spouse. After you hand them to spouse, on their own time, they walk through it they don't need to say it live. They need to think through it and process it and write a C, an S, or an N. Cinch, sweat, or no way. Cinch, I can do it. A sweat, I can do it, but it'll be hard. Nah, can't do it. Then you give it back to the spouse, and you guys talk through each one of them. If it is a cinch, and you're like, no, it's not a cinch, talk about it. If it's a sweat, talk about why it's a sweat. If it's not, talk about it. It's a communication tool for us to talk. Communication. This is a new season of marriage that you need to be intentional in order to do that. Because 2 Christians don't make a Christian couple. All right. What are some thoughts? What are some comments that you guys have? What are some comments? I see Tiandra. What's up, Tiandra? Hey, tell Kendall you got homework. If you just getting on, you got to go back and listen to this. If you are married, go back and listen to this because you have homework that has been given to everyone. Shondell, you have homework. Maurice, homework. Everybody, I'm just looking down. Jerome, what's up, man? I know you're a pastor, but you got homework. Richard Mullen, what's up, man? Hope Cornerstone is doing well. Man, give this to homework assignments so that we can have thriving marriages in there. Stephanie Powell says, got any thoughts for marriages where one spouse work is essential so that they are still going into the office working just as much, if not more than before? Seeing each other less and stress is higher. We are in this category. That is a great thing. I think this is the very essence of the idea of boundaries, and creating the calendar. Because for me, my work has actually intensified to some degree.
We're in that category.
Even though I'm not leaving, my work has been intensified because I've been always remote with my work with the North American Mission Board, but now that everyone's remote, it's like I live in front of this computer and I'm separated, and so we're definitely on the phone. So there are things, and Angie, 2 weeks ago when I talked about boundaries, like, hey, we just need to make sure we're doing the boundaries as well. And and I think that's something that's real. We need to do that, and so I would say intentionally do things that are together. So like, for instance, I know for you guys, it's like intentionally go with walks with Caden, intentionally create times where you guys can be together. And even if it's 15 minutes, it doesn't have to be this long thing, but how do we create some intentionality around that? Because it can be really, really difficult in that scenario.
It's I think there's a reality to that. Like if one person is working and that's the norm and it's intensified, the other person who's not working has also intensified because in the scenario where there's children involved, like there's kids at home, there's more expectations, there's more emotions, there's more laundry, there's more, it's times a bunch for everything. So I think there is a reality. It might be easier for the person who's going to think that they're going, the other person's just getting to hang out, and that's probably not the case. Yeah. So that might be might be good for the expectations.
Yeah, I think that's a great expectation, Stephanie. That like being able to write those expectations down, like with this new reality. There's all types of childcare situations that are changing. There's so many different things that you used to have that break between 9 to 2. But now you no longer have that break. So I think those are something like that. I think is critical for us to be able to walk through and to talk about. What are some date nights or some even other questions that you guys have on here? Some date night ideas, things that you guys that you've done, you can put on here. We got about a couple more minutes of this time. Some date nights, some thoughts that you have. What's up, John Williams? Hope all is well with you guys. Yeah, so
I think it's important during this time too to, how you have boundaries during the school year. Like, there's kind of a bedtime because you have to get up at 6 and you have to do this. You have to get, this is probably also a time, and I guess that's part of expectations, but this is probably also a time to realize you might watch a lot more Netflix. You might go to bed later. You might actually wake up later. You might, and those are okay. And I think it's good to write those down or like to identify those so that it's not just you feel like you're going against all your normal boundaries. Like make those the new boundaries. It's good to verbalize that.
Yeah.
Like we're changing our schedule. The kids being up at 11 because they don't get up till 9, and that's okay. As opposed to, I would never let my kids stay up till 11 on a school night.
Right. That's good. That's good. I love that. Jessica, how do you express needs when stress level for one spouse is through the roof and it's like double Dutch? Well, I would say this. Whenever, create multiple touch points throughout the day. And think about it like you do when you think about, how you get your information. There's certain times that there's information that you get, hey, this quick tweet, right? Hey, you're just scrolling through your stuff. So, do check-ins. But then there's certain times when you need to kind of hey, I need 15 minutes, But then there are certain times that you can have, whether it's watching a TV show or like an hour. So I would say like do multiple different things. Do a quick check-in, do a time, and I'm talking about this time where it's just you and your spouse.
And say it too.
Yeah.
I think when I say like this is the long check-in, or when you tell me that more so because my attention span's trash.
Yeah.
But when you say like, hey, I want your attention for the next 20 minutes, I think that's important to voice as opposed to I'm thinking it's quick and you're thinking it's long, and then we have another argument.
So like so here's 3 categories. The 1 minute check-ins, like this is just quick, pass by. Do like the 15 to 30 minute, like let's sit down, it's just me and mom time, kids stay away. And then let's do the kind of the day date. Let's do the walk. Like do that regularly so that you can have times. And when you're expressing that these are times when you're able to say, just do check-ins. Where am I? Where are you? What do you need? I think those will really be helpful for us, so that it's not during stressful times when things come out.
Yeah, don't bring up stuff.
Right. And and the other thing is like, and I love the idea. Watching a movie is probably not the best time to do like check-in times, right? Because I'm trying to watch a movie and she's trying to ask questions. Like that's not the best time, right? Go on walks, sit on your porch, get on the balcony, wherever you have to get away from your kids, to get away and just do something. But being able to, yeah, Smith Santil said cooking together, movie night, back and foot rubs. Like, Angie did my nails yesterday, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not afraid of it. All right, so Maurice, what's up, man? All right, y'all, we're over 30 minutes. We said every day because we want you guys to keep coming back. We love you guys. Hopefully this is just some way so that we can not survive, but thrive in our marriage.
I have one other suggestion.
All right, she's got another suggestion.
This is from the Stensons. They do FaceTime date nights.
Yes.
That's what they told us they've been doing. Is they get on FaceTime with another couple, and I saw David and Deanna do it too. They were playing Pictionary with another couple through the phone. I thought that was her. Yeah.
So date night. That's a great date night idea to do. So So we love you guys. We appreciate it. Until tomorrow. Again, tomorrow is Justin Gibney. We'll talk about engaging in the social, the public space. Wednesday, we're going to be talking about with Pastor Morgan Nix, talking about how do we go from sermon or studying to sermon, right? Just like proclaiming God's word. Thursday, we got Chip Dodd on. Friday, maybe Stephanie, maybe a guest appearance, Feelings Friday, and just talk about emotions, especially with our children. And so we'll be talking about that. So this week, we got guests all week. I'm thankful to my beautiful wife. Mwah. My beautiful wife. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And we will see you guys again. If you want to give, blueprintchurch.org/give. If you want prayer, blueprintchurch.org/pray. And if you have been adversely affected, finance@blueprintchurch.org. We love you guys, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless.